What's good, everyone? Scotty White at World Combat Sports. Appreciate you for pulling up. You know what it is. It's another one. This is the Muddy Flats edition. Yeah, I got to get back to my mixed martial arts, period. It ain't like it left me, but it's been a while since I reported on it full blast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everyone that's that's pulling up to the live chat. Hopefully I get some people to speak, and have a dialogue with this mixed martial arts. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right down to it, man. UFC Fight Night is on deck, January 16th. You have Max Holloway facing Calvin Kattar. The significant part about Max Holloway is that he was the former featherweight champion. And not only that, he faced Jose Aldo twice. In the second one, he was able to basically defeat Jose Aldo, of all people, at one point in time considered the GOAT. He defeated him a second time, and coming in there as the interim champion, and he was able to get it done. So he defended his title like 3 times, I believe. But this was the fights that probably would have made his career a lot better. All right. It was a point in time where Max in 2018 was set to face Frankie Edgar. That bout fell out. He was due to face Khabib Nurmagomedov. That bout fell out. You know what I'm saying? Then he was set to face Brian Ortega. So that fight was rescheduled. He went in there and fought Brian Ortega, who's trained by Cesar Gracie, and he gave him a beating. Oh my God. I always try to tell people, like, it's good to have jiu-jitsu, but when you're on a level and a stage fighting the elite, you have to work on your hands. And Brian Ortega, man, he took over a year after that beating from Max Holloway. Hey, I respect Brian Ortega to the fullest, man. He took a beating like no other. And he was out the sport for over a year before he came back in to fight. Over a year, It wasn't just because, the fight he had with Max Holloway, but it was more so that he had to take care of some personal issues with himself and everything else. But Max Holloway, man, during that time as champion, he attempted to move up the lightweight, right? And face the one and only Dustin Poirier. Yeah, Dustin Diamond Poirier. He attempted to go in there and fight for the interim championship because Khabib Nurmagomedov was one of those fights that fell off for him. He was never able to step in there with him. So if he would have defeated Dustin Poirier for the interim title at a higher weight class, he would have got his shot at Khabib. That would have basically established, a very significant name on his resume if he could have defeated him. Styles make fights, man. But Dustin Poirier, too big, too strong, weathered the storm. 5 rounds, he ended up defeating Max Holloway. You know what I'm saying? So Max goes on at featherweight to face Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And, 2 close fights, man. He lost the first one, but I think, I was thinking to myself, looking at that fight over and over again, that he potentially won the second one. But he has 2 L's against Alexander Volkanovski, the guy who beat him for his title. So ever since then, he's been trying, to find his way and get back on track. You know what I'm saying? So he's stepping in there with Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar, man, beat one of my boys, Jeremy Stephens. I knew for a fact Jeremy Stephens. If you don't know who Jeremy Stephens is, right? Just go back to the time when Conor McGregor was on his rise and they was at a press conference. All the heavy hitters in there. They had a press conference. And Jeremy Stephens, Conor's running his mouth talking about red panty night and all this shit being disrespectful. That's when Cowboy Cerrone said, you don't want to come up here to this weight class because, it's big boys in this weight class. You light in the ass, basically, right? I think he was talking about 170. But Jeremy Stephens was Jeremy Heaton Stephens, right? He was one of my favorite fighters because I like the way he fight. He brings it. Calvin Kattar went in there and knocked him out with a right elbow. I'm talking about the way he rotated over that right elbow in the midst of striking, just like he was throwing a punch. And he rotated downward, forward, and hit him with his elbow. It was beautiful. Knocked him down immediately. I'll say, no, not my boy Jeremy Stevens. Defeated Jeremy Stevens. And then he went in there against Dan Ige. Dan Ige was a pretty tough opponent, a durable opponent. Kattar went in there and won the decision. So now we have two guys on two different lanes. Max Holloway is trying to reestablish himself and get back on the winning streak after losing the second time to Alexander the Great Volkanovski, who is current featherweight champion, featherweight world champion of the UFC. And then you have Kevin Kattar, and he's coming off two solid victories. You know what I'm saying? Two solid victories. Jeremy Stevens and Dan Ige. So these two will fight this weekend, January 16th, man. And it's going to be on and popping. You know, if you're looking on YouTube, you know, I actually put the fight card down there for those of you that's tuned in. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop it down in the comment section. You know, featherweights on the co-main, man, you got Carlos Condit. Come on. Carlos, the natural-born killer, Condit, going in there against Matt Brown. These two has been, look, they have been all around the cage, y'all. At one point in time, I thought Carlos Condit was going to be the next star. Matt Brown, what can I say, man? Dude is tough as hell. When he has his highlights, Matt Brown has his highlights. When he has his down points, it's all bad. He's a tough dude. Matt is not the one that you want to ever mistaken in the streets. Walking down that motherfucker with a plaid shirt and a baseball cap on, looking like he's just, you know, a lick. Matt will fight you in the fucking alley. You know what I'm saying? That dude is no nonsense, straight to the point, man. Him and Carlos Condit is fighting in the co-main event. And then you have Santiago Ponzinibbio. I like Ponzinibbio against Li Jingliang. And that's going to be a pretty decent fight too, man. Joaquin Buckley. I don't know if you remember him, though. He's fighting Alessio Di Chirico. So if you don't remember Joaquin Buckley, he's the one who had one of the most fascinating highlight reel kick knockouts that you'll ever see. His opponent did right. His opponent was Impa Kumakau, you know, and he parried Buckley's kick. I think Buckley kicked him with his left foot. He parried it, right? He parried it, held it a little bit too long, and Buckley kicked him with the other foot, reverse, kicked him in the face. I mean, when I say kick, I'm talking about force-fed him the entire heel. Force-fed him a foot sandwich. You know how you go to motherfucking foot Subway or the foot long with everything on it? Goddamn. You shouldn't get kicked in the face. Like, I've seen some brutal head kick knockouts, real talk, where people are stiffing. But this kick was fascinating because of the way it played out. His opponent did everything right defensively. He parried the kick. He held it I'm talking about just a little bit. The salt was going out the hourglass, y'all. He just held a little bit too long. And man, Buckley reversed and kicked him in the mouth, throws him up. Boom. The kick that changed Joaquin Buckley's life. He even said it. It changed his life. He said everybody was hitting him up about that kick. It's one of the most unique, devastating knockouts you'll see in the UFC of this time. Beautiful knockout. But he will be on the card. So this is going down January 16th, start time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. They're in Yas Island, of course. They used, call it Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. Man, every time I see Abu Dhabi, I was like, damn, I just wish I could just go over there for at least about 3 or 4 months you know, have about 2 or 3 kids, you know, ride around in a luxury car, enjoy myself, splurge about a meal, you know what I'm saying, having the time of my life. I mean, shit looks so beautiful over there. Beautiful. And I'm pretty sure the UFC fighters, man, they have a time of their life over there when it was in normal circumstance. But due to COVID-19 and everything, they're probably not able to walk around and do what the hell they want to do. But be sure that you tune in for this fight card, Max Bless Holloway against Kattar. All right? That's just going to be on point. Now, I want to go through like I always do, man, because, you know, I can't stay on here long, but I want to go through. You know, I was debating this because I have a busy weekend coming up, man. I got to cover an amateur boxing tournament. But it's all for the better good, man. Those of you that's out there doing media, you know, go out there and cover an amateur boxing tournament. Show those little young lions that you love them too. You know what I'm saying? You just don't love covering boxing, but you love to get out there in the trenches and show these young lions some love. You know what I'm saying? Top 10 pound for pound, man, is always something I have to review, especially when it changes up and everything. I got to scrub it down nice for you, you know, dissect it a little bit, tell you some backstories, some comparisons, you know, some fights I want to see and all that. What's going on, Tom Brown? Hey, Tom Brown, man, listen, I'm glad you popped up here, Tom Brown. I have to apologize, bro. I have to apologize for as long as you've been coming on here. You have a comment on one of my videos that's over a year ago, I think. Over a year ago. And you were sitting up here, no wrench, no nothing, man. I had to apologize for the oversight, bro. I appreciate your support. You come in, I was going through some of my videos, and I was like, God damn. Tone commented on this video way back when on a fighter that I did that's trying to make it to the championship level. Finally got a fight on Showtime. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. J8 in the building. What's good? Yeah, I did too, Jade. I thought he won the second fight against Alexander Volkanovski too. I did. D Hodges in the building. What's good? For 2021, D Hodges. D Hodges always come. Look, D Hodges always come on the live, and I appreciate you, D Hodges. But you never say what's up. Aren't me and you around the same age, D Hodges? D Hodges never say what's up to me. I guess it has to be a good day of the week or whatever. I don't know. But D Hodges is coming here and say, "What's up, D Ray? What's up, Tong? What's up, Mike?" He'll never say what's up to the host, man. It's all good, man. It's all good. But anyway, top 10 pound for pound, man. I want to scrub it down for you, man. Give you a little bit of insight on things that's changed, because that's what I do. You know, the mixed martial arts game, the muddy flats, as I call it, because it's that dirty. The muddy flats is a dirty. This is just my interpretation of mixed martial arts. It's a dirty game, y'all. It's so much that you have to do in this sport and learn and remediate. It is indeed the muddy flats of combat sports. Real talk. Now, I'm not saying this better than any other combat sport. I'm just saying, in order for you to become well-rounded, you have to get down in the freaking trenches and get dirty, you know, contact to contact, body to body. You have to work on your jiu-jitsu. You have to work on your clinch game. You have to work off, you know, takedown defense. You have to use remediated contact in order for you to become pretty decent at this sport. What's going on, IB? What's good? So, top 10 pound for pound for those of you that's tuned in. A lot has taken place, okay? Let's check this out. Henry Cejudo, the former champ, right, of recent. He was a flyweight champion and bantamweight champion. Look, he won the 135-pound championship, defended against Dominique Cruz, DC as I call him, and he retired. Henry Cejudo is a gold medal Olympic wrestler. He is American. You rarely see that feat. A gold medal Olympic wrestler. So he got up out of here. He leaves the top pound for pound list. And then you got John Jones. John Jones was top #1 pound for pound for the longest of time. He leaves the sport. Say he's, vacating his title. You know what I'm saying? He's going up to heavyweight. So now you probably seeing these pictures surface. John Jones, 250, looking like a true heavyweight. Because John Jones was always considered a good fit for light heavy. Slender frame, ripped, aesthetically and freakishly gifted. You know what I'm saying? Just like his brothers who play in the NFL. So right now, man, he is bulked up crazy. Man, he is bulked up crazy to step back in as a heavyweight mixed martial artist. But he stepped out the sport and his position was moved down from #1. It was adjusted. So let me give you the top pound for pound list as I know how to do, right? Top pound for pound in the UFC. #1, you have the current lightweight champion, Khabib the Nurmagomedov. I mean, I can start from the bottom 15 or I can start from #1. It really don't matter, people. However you want the pound for pound list to be given, I will present it. But anyway, I start from the top. You had Khabib Nurmagomedov, who's the lightweight champion at the time. #2 is John Jones. He's out of the sport. He has no belt, but he is considered the GOAT. He was moved down to second position after Khabib defeated Justin Gaethje. #3, Israel Adesanya. Man, current middleweight champion. Look what he's trying to do. Israel Adesanya is trying to move up to light heavy to face the current light heavyweight champion, Juan Blachowicz. Sitting in #3, y'all, like a G. 4, you have Stipe Miocic, considered one of the best heavyweights ever in the UFC, in mixed martial arts, period. He had his little rivalry with DC, Daniel Cormier, and he was able to get the better of that rivalry. So now what? He sits at #4, man. He is the reigning, defending heavyweight champion. #5 is Kamaru Usman, man. He's the welterweight champion at 170 pounds. We know what he was able to do: defeat Tyrone Woodley, defeat Kobe Covington. I don't see Kobe Covington over here talking this MAGA stuff right now. MAGA this, MAGA that. I didn't see him at the damn Capitol. I didn't see him in none of that shit. But Kamaru Usman, man, his last win was over Jorge Masvidal, right? It was a point in time that I did not like Kamaru Usman. I was like, you fucking boring, dog. He would sit up here and clinch and use his wrestling background. I'm like, damn, dude, be excited. And then he would win. He would say 30%. That's just 30%. And I'm like, dude, give us damn 80%. Give us 80% because you're boring as shit. But now he's about to step in there with the multi-time ADCC grappling world champion, Gilbert Burns, a legit high-level BJJ competitor. His next opponent is Gilbert Burns. That should be a very exciting fight. But right now, Kamaru Usman sits at #5. #6 is Alexander Volkanovski. He is the featherweight champion. Yes, the same one who I said defeated Max Holloway twice. Alexander the Great Volkanovski. He's proven to be a legitimate champion. He won the title and defended the title. So he has to, continue to do that. So, hopefully Max Bless Holloway gets another shot for a third time at Volkanovski. But just to let you know, just what I do is that Henry Cejudo, who was the champ at flyweight and the bantamweight division, wants to come back and challenge a third weight class, y'all. He wants to challenge Alexander the Great Volkanovski at featherweight to see if he can become the first three-weight champion in the UFC. Yes, that would be fire. #7, my boy Dustin Diamond Poirier. Dustin Poirier. Oh, I'm gonna get back to Dustin Poirier. Him coming off that fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, I thought he would do better, but he's at 7. Number 8, Max Holloway. Max Bless Holloway is the same one that's fighting this weekend. He's going in there against Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar is not on the top pound for pound list, but he gets a good shot at Max Bless Holloway to move closer to a title shot, y'all. That's good shit. 9, Deiveson Figueiredo. Listen, if you didn't see his last fight, this man was able to take advantage of fighting for the flyweight title. Once the shit was vacated. All right, once it was vacated, Deiveson Figueiredo was able to go in there and fight my boy Joseph Benavidez, one of the fighters everybody say should have been a world champion already, fighting out of Team Alpha Male. I actually seen him when I was in freaking California. Cool dude. I mean, highly talented, but was knocked out twice by Deiveson Figueiredo. The first time Figueiredo won the title against Benavidez, he had missed weight, so he couldn't pick up the strap. So they say, okay, we're going to run it back. They brought the same 2 fighters back to do it the second time. He knocked them out again. He knocked them out again, y'all. But Deiveson Figueiredo sits at number 9. All right. Number 10, Peter Yan. Peter Yan is the current 135 bantamweight champion right now. He's set to face my boy Funk Master. You know what I'm saying? Aljamain Sterling. That's going to be his next opponent, and that shit's going to be fire. Stay tuned for that Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. That fight right there, the 135, is going to be absolute fire, y'all. Number 11. This is a wild one, sitting at number 11, because I'm saying Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje had the opportunity finally to step up and have a damn good fight with Tony Ferguson. I mean, his hands were superb in that fight. Finally get the shot at Khabib and was subbed out in the second round. I expected more from Justin Gaethje. With the way you displayed your hands against Tony Ferguson, I was like, the highlight is here. He's arrived. The highlight, that's what we're looking for. And Khabib subbed him out after his father had passed. I thought Justin Gaethje was going to do better. 12, Conor McGregor, the notorious one. Yes, the Conor McGregor that was able to perform that legendary run. Conor McGregor, the one that was the first champ in the UFC. I got to come back to him. Because what he's trying to do right now is get another fight with Khabib. Who's pushing that shit? Dana White. He's pushing the sit up here and freaking destroy 2021. He's trying to come with some damn grenades every fucking way. Every time you turn around, the UFC have a fight card coming up. He's trying to put TNT all over the landscape. Landmines up that bitch. Conor McGregor sits at number 12. 13, the one and only Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight champion, been in there with some of the best names, former rugby player, Ozzy, a very tough Ozzy, in there with Yoel Romero twice, in there with Izzy Adesanya. I mean, his name speaks volumes. He's just coming off a win and trying to make his way back to title contention. You know what I'm saying? But he's all the way in the top. Look, I remember he was up the way, but he's in the bottom half right now. Look, he's in the bottom 5. I really don't know why, because when he was champion, he was still in the bottom 5. They gave him close to top 10, but not where he was like nice and comfortable. Like, I feel at home in this top 10. Even when he was champion, they didn't put him in the motherfucking top 10 like that. But anyway, number 14 is Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, you probably already know. He was the one that they were saying, oh man, he got more punching power than Mike Tyson. Francis Ngannou is going to be the next best. And I'm telling people, look, I'm telling people on these mixed martial arts sites, I say he's not going to beat Stipe Miocic. This is not boxing. This is not bare knuckle fighting. This man is strong. Make no mistake about it. but his game is still underdeveloped. It's still in its, I wouldn't say embryonic stages, but it's still developing. All right. And I'm saying to myself, he's not going to beat a wrestler like Stipe Miocic. Sure enough, Stipe used his defense. Francis was trying to, knock home runs out of the cage. He was trying to send Stipe's chin out in the parking lot. And when you know what happened when you miss your power shots, you get tired. And Stipe had his way with Francis Ngannou. But Francis is trying to get his damn, open invitation back to fight Stipe Miocic. I'm pretty sure this time around he should be a bit better. But all the damn videos like Tyson. You remember when Tyson was coming out with this shit with Triller, and he was putting all those nice clips, and this mitt man act like he ain't never held a mitts before. He's jumping off. That's the same thing with Francis Ngannou mitt holder. Francis Ngannou kicked the guy in a freaking a shin pad. They're doing mitts. Kicked him in the shin pad. His mitt holder fell to the ground like that was the most devastating kick he ever seen. I said, you know what? Y'all gonna fuck around and embarrass yourself, because he is not kicking a veteran mitt holder like that and knocking him to the ground. So the shit looked good for slow motion, but let's be honest, it did not happen in the fight with Stipe Miocic. But shout out to Francis Ngannou, man, sitting at number 14. Number 15 is one and only Warren Blachowicz. Listen, y'all, Warren Blachowicz, he's the current light heavyweight champion. When I tell you, I wish John Jones would have fought Dominic Reyes or Warren Blachowicz before he retired, I meant it. You know what I'm saying? This is the issue I have. Dominic Reyes, in my opinion, defeated John Jones when he fought him for the light heavyweight title. He was a challenger, right? He didn't get the nod. Then I look at John Jones leaving and vacating the title. Warren Blachowicz came up there and defeated Dominic Reyes, and Dominic didn't even look nowhere close to what he did against John Jones. But he had the opportunity to get this light heavyweight title. Didn't get it done. That was his moment to seize the opportunity to become world champion, and he couldn't get it done. So now, the light heavyweight champion, Warren Blachowicz, this is what popularity, just what a resume means. Warren Blachowicz is a light heavyweight champion, y'all. And he's the only champion in the bottom half of the top 15. He's at number 15 right now. He's at number 15 right now, y'all. Peter Yan is sitting at number 10, and he is the bantamweight champion. Peter Yan fought for the vacant title too. Warren Blachowicz fought for the vacant title. But I think the only thing that separates Peter Yan being 10 and Warren Blachowicz being number 15 is Peter Yan never lost in the UFC. He's never lost since he's been in the UFC. I think his only loss in his career is against Magomedov. I think that might be his only loss. But he hasn't lost since he's been in the UFC. Now, Warren Blachowicz, I think he has like 4 or 5 losses since he's been an active UFC fighter. Excuse me. But on this day, he defeated Dominic Reyes. So that's the top 15. You have one champion that's sitting at the back door of the top 15. That's Warren Blachowicz. That's just crazy. So let me give you the top 15 in reverse. All right? Because I always have to do this. Number 15 is Warren Blachowicz. 14th is Francis Ngannou. 13th, Robert Whittaker. 12th, is Conor McGregor. 11, Justin Gaethje. 10, Peter Yan. 9, Deiveson Figueiredo. 8, Max Bless Holloway. 7, Dustin Poirier. 6, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. 5, Kamaru Usman. 4, Stipe Miocic. 3, Israel Adesanya. 2, John Bones Jones. 1, Khabib Nurmagomedov. There you go. That's the top 15 from 1 to 15 and from 15 to 1. Now let's get some comparisons and some stories of the top pound for pound list. Where do I start? Okay, Israel Adesanya, the one that's sitting at number 3. Look, Israel Adesanya is trying to go up and challenge Juan Blachowicz at light heavyweight. Yeah, the same Juan Blachowicz is sitting at number 15. He wants to bridge the gap and compete at the next higher weight class. If he's able to become champ, somehow, some way, like I said, him and John Jones may meet. It may be a potential clash between Israel Adesanya and John Jones. Now, as you heard me say before, if Israel Adesanya and John Jones meet, it will be the biggest, one of the biggest combat sports fight in the history of combat. The numbers that it would do will breach the top 5 of the boxing PPV buys. Guarantee it. But Israel Adesanya has to get past Juan Blachowicz. This is what I'm building up to. This is somewhat the same climactic moment that Conor McGregor was able to do. Conor McGregor did it way better than Israel Adesanya. All right? Conor McGregor, he was in a neighboring organization, came over to the UFC with 2 freaking losses, right? 2 losses already. But he started to face competition leading up to his first title shot. Dennis Silver and Chad Mendes. When he finally went in there and fought, considered the GOAT in Jose Aldo, he knocked him out in 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Look, they put the crown on his head. Shit sparkling and shit. They say, damn, Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo after fucking him up doing the promos. Knocked him out in 13 seconds, y'all. Conor McGregor has arrived. Instead of Conor McGregor defending his title, he moves up the welterweight division. He faces the one and only Nate Diaz, the Stockton OG. Nate fucking Diaz. The man that was here doing what Conor was doing long before Conor came into the UFC. Nate Diaz and his brother Nick was doing that shit long before that. He goes up and say, fuck it. Nate, you want to fuck with me? I'll come up to welterweight. Conor McGregor went from 145 all the way up to 170. 145 to 170 to fight Nate Diaz, y'all. A BJJ black belt. Trained by Cesar Gracie. Conor McGregor went from 145. What is 145? 145 up to damn welterweight to face Nate Diaz and was subbed out in 2 rounds. Found out them Stockton hands are legit. They're official. People used to say, and Nate Diaz and his brother has pretty good, solid boxing skills, but they slapped the shit out their opponent. And Conor McGregor found out that shit was official. I mean, Nate Diaz is known to goddamn get bloody and take punishment. Them Diaz brothers are some tough, well-respected OGs. It's too bad that on the backside of their career, they haven't been able to make that shit work as much. But when Conor McGregor was subbed out by Nate Diaz at that moment should have took it to a whole nother level. It's no way that people are going to convince me that Nate Diaz going into the rematch, that he lost to Conor McGregor and Conor McGregor had gotten that much better heading into the rematch. It's bullshit. I'm going to call it. I'm going to keep that shit raw and uncut. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. They felt that it was a certain direction that they wanted Conor to go. If you look at that fight, Nate Diaz was just doing some dumb shit. Just like, I mean, that's not something I would expect from Nate Diaz, bro. So I'm saying to myself, no, it's no way Conor McGregor can improve that much to come in here and beat Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz could have been able to take Conor to the ground. It's not like Conor McGregor's cardio improved tremendously for the rematch. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm trying to get back to the comparisons of Israel Adesanya and Conor McGregor. Peep this out. He rematches and he drops back down to Chad Mendes at 155 and wins the title. Conor McGregor then fights Floyd Mayweather for hundreds of millions. This is the exact same thing that can happen to Israel Adesanya if he indeed defeats Juan Blachowicz. It can be the same thing. Now, he's not going to get the same treatment as notorious Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is an Irishman. He has the flamboyancy. He has the charisma. People love to hear him talk his bullshit. Israel Adesanya is not that guy. He talks, but he's whack. You know, he isn't there yet. He doesn't have that bravado as Conor McGregor. But if he's able to get this second title, it will set him up for a multi-million-dollar fight in the near future with John Jones. The same as Conor McGregor did coming off that fight with Chad Mendes. Now you're saying, well, John Jones is in the UFC and Floyd Mayweather is in boxing. Correct. You're absolutely correct. But both of them holds that status as being the great at what they do. Floyd Mayweather is considered the great in the sport of boxing, and John Jones has never been defeated in the ring, nor has Israel Adesanya. But Israel Adesanya has been defeated in his previous kickboxing career. Absolutely. He's been defeated. John Jones has never been defeated. That would set up a multi-million-dollar fight. That would be fucking unbelievable. All right? So I just warmed up the top with Israel Adesanya. What's going on? I already told you about John Jones. He's put on all this weight. He's getting ready to return back to heavyweight. I'm going to save Khabib Nurmagomedov, number one pound for pound, for last. All right? Number 4, Stipe Miocic. Now, of course, I just told you Francis Ngannou trying to get that shot. Whoever they're trying to send back in there. Stipe is a legitimate multi-time heavyweight champion. Stipe is the good guy of the sport. People consider him boring, but I like Stipe because he's a fireman. He still maintains fireman duties, and he's a good dude. He served the community. What he was able to do with Daniel Cormier, you're talking about, listen, this is how much I respect what he was able to do, y'all. Stipe Miocic was knocked out in one round by neglecting to put his left hand up out the clinch with a shorter fighter in DC who is a high-level wrestler. But since he turned mixed martial artist, his hands, y'all, he worked on his boxing. This dude entered the heavyweight championship Grand Prix over Strikeforce and look, undefeated, coming over here and compete at light heavyweight just because his friend Cain Velasquez was competing at heavyweight. Do you have a friend like that? Do you have a friend that's willing to drop weight? Drop weight. He don't have the best body composition, DC. He was willing to suck in and drop weight all because his friend Cain Velasquez was competing at the heavyweight division. What did he do? He know his wrestling was on point. He worked on his hands. He knocked out Stipe. Right hook. Went on top of him, landed about 3 shots, fight's over. Stipe out cold. Stipe came back, changed up the game plan, y'all. Changed up the motherfucking game plan and got his title back. Stop, DC. They had a trilogy. Look, this is what unique about studying the game, right? The trilogy that DC had, I think, did more for his career than if he would have just fought anybody else outside of Stipe Miocic. The reason I'm saying that is him and John Jones was supposed to blossom into a rivalry. This is the beautiful part about what happened in DC, right? And I've been on record as saying, if it's anybody I want to interview in the UFC, it's DC. Look, DC lost twice to John Jones, but John Jones popped dirty. And through several testing, they're coming to find out that an athlete that was ingesting something, it takes more time potentially for all of the picograms and everything to filter out the fighter's body. Everybody's, everyone's body is different. And they didn't start finding this out until John Jones, who's suspended for, outside the cage incidents. I cannot tell you how many times, but the main one is him being suspended for testing positive, which it was not even a higher amount. It was the same amount of picograms, very small, but yet he was suspended. So the rivalry between him and DC should have been the rivalry that he has with Stipe Miocic. But he defeated DC twice. John Jones was DC Alpha. This was at light heavyweight, y'all. This was at the light heavyweight division. So DC decides to move up and become champ, y'all. The same shit Israel Adesanya's trying to do. The same thing Henry Cejudo did. The same thing Amanda Nunes did. The same thing who the first to do it, Conor McGregor. So therefore, he moves up to heavyweight. He knocks out Stipe. Champ. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. DC is a legend. Pudgy, Popeyes commercial, eating, a legend. Amazing how a rivalry between him and John Jones was supposed to happen the same way him and Stipe did, but it didn't, because he couldn't fuck with John Jones. But he goes up here and wins one. And you're probably saying to yourself, but still, he was defeated twice by Stipe. He only won once. But the time he won was to solidify his 2-division championship. That was his second division at the same time. He was the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion. That's how important the first fight was when he stepped in there with Stipe Miocic. Crazy, huh? That shit crazy. So the next time he went in there and lost, people's like, oh, give him a trilogy, man. This shit is nice. Man, it's riveting. It's a whole lot of intrigue. Bring him back. So DC came back and was defeated again. Now he's been out the sport for a minute. He's contemplating coming back. You know the deal. But man, what a crazy turn of events for Daniel Cormier when it comes from him at the light heavyweight division, trying to develop a rivalry with somebody he despised. Like DC and John Jones, oh my God. You want to talk about vitriol? You want to talk about venom? You want to talk about toxicity? That's what they had between one another. They did not like each other at all. Then he moves up the damn heavyweight. He wins the title from Stipe and then loses it and then couldn't get it back. That's my little breakdown of Stipe Miocic, who sits at number 4. Number 5, Kamaru Usman. Hey, I got to salute Kamaru Usman. He's still not one of my favorite fighters to watch, but I got to respect him. Dude has legitimate wrestling, and he has legitimate hands. Real talk. He went in there and fought Colby Covington when there was a lot of shit being talked. You know, Colby Covington would call him Marty Fake News and all this shit, dog. And he went in there and defeated Colby Covington. I have to give Kamaru Usman his just due. I mean, he went in there and washed Tyron Woodley. Washed him. Both of them has wrestling pedigree. Washed him, dog. He beat Jorge Masvidal. Even though Jorge Masvidal took the fight on short notice, all because Gilbert Burns came down with COVID. It's facts. Jorge Masvidal, you know, riding the momentum of knocking out Ben Askren in 5 seconds, the fastest knockout in UFC history. I wish he would have had more time to go in there and face Kamaru Usman, people. You know what I'm saying? I wish he would have had freaking more time. Moving on, though. Number 6. Number 6 is Alexander the Great Volkanovski. I said his rivalry with Max Holloway. Now, I pretty much gave you about 3 different freaking rivalries right here. This should have been a rivalry if Max Holloway would have been able to gain his title back in the rematch against Alexander Volkanovski. You know what I'm saying? You have what happened to DC, 0-2 against John Jones. But he goes in there and knocks out Stipe Miocic. He makes it 1-1. You know what I'm saying? Because Stipe defeated him in the rematch. With Volkanovski, though, Max Holloway has, I think, one final door to go back in there and try to get his title back. He does. He has one open gate, y'all. One open gate. He can get this shit done. We want to see it. This is for the Featherweight World Championship. If he gets past Kevin Kattar this weekend, he may potentially get back to getting his title. But it's going to be a tough goal this weekend. I ain't going to lie to you. This fight with Kevin Kattar is going to be tough, y'all. It's going to be tough, y'all, for Max Bless Holloway. It's going to be tough. Man, moving on to number 7, y'all. Come on now. Hit the like button. Pass the word and sub. You know, I talk about boxing more than I do MMA, but my MMA game's strong too. Number 7, Dustin Poirier, y'all. Dustin freaking Poirier. Listen, Dustin Poirier has one of the biggest fights coming up in his career outside of Khabib. Outside of Khabib. Now, for those of you that follow the sport, you know Dustin Poirier has also faced Conor McGregor back in the day in 2014, right? He didn't get it done. He got beat. He was defeated. I don't know if Conor McGregor was just a tougher guy, but both of their careers were damn near at the same level. They was developing and improving as they went along. So therefore, Conor McGregor came in here and defeated him the way he did. Conor McGregor, that was only his 4th fight in the UFC. But he has a win over Dustin Diamond Poirier, right? They're due to fight again coming up in UFC 257. Dustin Poirier had his opportunity by defeating Max Holloway for the interim title, the lightweight interim title. Like I said before, he went in there, he was subbed out by Khabib in the 3rd round. I still look at that picture, though. When Khabib had that RNC, right? And he sunk it in on Dustin Poirier, how Dustin was sitting up here with his arms out. He wasn't even defending the choke. I'm not sure if the choke was so tight that he knew it would be pointless. But I've seen fighters get out of chokes that's tight. It's almost like he surrendered. You know, like he just put his hands up and let Khabib choke him out to a point and then, you know, tap. He has a fight to redeem himself right now. And that fight is Conor McGregor. Why? Because Conor McGregor has been at the top. I mean, all the way at the fucking top. Conor McGregor has been all the way at the top. When I say all the way at the top, you got 2 straps. One on the left and the right, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, you get the invite from Floyd Money Mayweather to come fight. You charge your fans $100 freaking dollars. You charge your fans $100. You make You make millions on that fight in a sport that you didn't look in a sport that you have never competed on a professional level, and it was outside of the sport that you was 2-weight champion. Who does that? That shit is legendary. Now Dustin Poirier has the opportunity to right the wrong. Seriously, because this is what's going on. And on everything, you know, my boy I talked to, he say, on a stack of Bibles. You know what I'm saying? On a stack of Bibles, mile high. I'm telling you, Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. Look, I know both of these fighters has improved in their career, but I'm telling you, Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. This is one of those fights where it's going to be Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. This is going to be one of those fights where it's going to be Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia all over again. When you already have the fight signed, the face Gervonta Davis. So Luke Campbell knows he's going to lose. He knows. It's going to be a fight that, to the people tuned in right now, they're going to say, oh, no, man, Dustin has – I'm telling you, Conor McGregor will win the fight. Listen, Conor McGregor is going to win the fight potentially in shorter fashion than what Khabib was able to do. Why? Because Dana White is trying to set up a fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor rematch. It's a huge, huge fight. And you know, when it comes to Dana White, he wants the most controversial bout in UFC recent history to come back to the cage. Khabib Nurmagomedov is 29-0. 0 losses now. He's considered by some to be the GOAT. But the Conor McGregor situation that happened with him picking up the 2 titles and being the first one to ever do it, being out of the sport, fighting Floyd Mayweather, coming back, taking his time, fighting Khabib, losing, and then most recently dusting off Cowboy Cerrone in 40 seconds, which has nothing to do with anything. Cowboy said he didn't want to be there. But what Dana White is trying to do is make a huge fight for the big bucks. He's trying to, because look, it's a lot of people respect Khabib more now that he hasn't lost. All right. And then it's a lot of people that's beginning to resurge with their respect for Conor McGregor to step back in there with the undefeated Khabib. The melee that took place after Khabib subbed out Conor McGregor. They want all that shit. So Dana White is trying to have a meeting with Khabib to urge him to return back to the cage to fight none other than Conor McGregor. So you're asking yourself, do tell, why would Dana White try to discuss a future bout with Khabib when he has a fight with Dustin Poirier coming up? Why are you trying to see if Khabib, now it could be another layer, right? Maybe he's trying to see if Khabib is going to come back or not. So he cannot force Khabib to vacate his title, and you didn't say that to Conor McGregor, who never defended a title. Conor McGregor was out the sport forever and a day. He never defended the featherweight or the lightweight title. Never. So this is where we at. Dana White is trying to say, hey, Khabib, what do you think it'll take to get you back in the cage? The man dad passed last year. It hasn't been that long, right? But Dana White is over here like, Khabib, what can it take? I really want, the people really, he said it first, right? And then he said, oh, the people really want you and Conor McGregor to fight in the rematch. It would do huge numbers, and you'll make a hell of a lot of money. A hell of a lot of money. Now the language is coming out from Conor McGregor saying that Khabib is scared. Khabib is scared. That's the same thing you were saying before, Conor. You look, Conor was coming off the momentum and experiencing a stage that Khabib has never in his life experienced, except being a Sambo world champion 2 times 2, right? So he was able to go over there and fight the boxing great in Floyd. Khabib never experienced that. So Conor McGregor coming back over to the sport, challenging Khabib, talking all that shit, disrespecting him, disrespecting his entire team family. He goes in there and gets submitted, broken down. See, you know what Conor's gonna fuck up if he goes in here with that mindset that it's still gonna be a grappling game? Is the fact that he needs to work on his cardio. One thing in the first fight was that he spent so much energy trying to defend Khabib's takedown. He wouldn't even allow Conor to post up, y'all. He wouldn't even allow Conor McGregor to establish his base. He kept that man in the seated position. He kept his legs scooped up and straightened out. He prohibited him from even trying anything to get back to his feet. Solid. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. Dana White is trying to talk to Khabib about potentially going into a rematch. Whether that fight happen or not, hey, Dana White can make shit happen. And for 2021, that'll be a big fight. Huge fight. But don't ask yourself, just say I told you so. Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier is due to step back in the cage. Conor McGregor is going to win that fight. Probably 3 rounds or less. 3 rounds or less. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But usually when you have a common opponent and you're trying to build up to a future fight, usually that opponent that steps in there is going to defeat that common opponent in less time than the champion did. So therefore, it allows people to build up the momentum and the vortex and allow Conor McGregor to step back in there with Khabib. And people are like, oh man, this is a 50-50 fight. We don't know who the fuck gonna win this shit. We don't know. Anyway, moving on. I have to just leave that right there. 7, Dustin Poirier. 8, Max Bless Holloway. I told you about him. Alexander Volkanovski. All right. But he has to get past Kevin Kattar. It's not going to be easy. 9 is Davis Figueiredo. I kind of briefly, touched on that. He defeated Joseph Benavidez twice. And then his last fight, man, he got it done. They're trying to make a rematch and build up a little rivalry. So we'll see if that transpires. But he's legit, man. He's a strong dude. We'll just see how long he's holding on to that strap. Just to mention my boy, Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse defended his title 11 times. Don't get it twisted. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, salute to you. He was over there and won championship, man. Demetrius Mighty Mouse, a GOAT in his own right. People didn't show him that respect and love because he's a gamer and he don't talk a whole lot of trash, but he will fuck you up. Mighty Mouse, man, dude was absolutely insane. One of the only fighters to defeat him in the UFC was Dominic Cruz at a higher weight, at 135-pound division. They established the flyweight division, and he just ruled it the entire time. They established a 125-pound division, and he just goddamn took over. It's a wrap. Done. So shout out to Demetrius Johnson, man. But talking about the 125-pound right now is Davis Figueiredo. He is the 125-pound champ. Number 10 is Peter Yan. Peter Yan has a tough fight coming up against freaking Aljamain Sterling. And one thing I can say about Peter Yan, he has a win over Jose Aldo. So when it's all said and done, all the manipulation, Jose Aldo dropping down from 145 to 135, I'm saying to myself, what the fuck, Jose? Dude, you're too old to be doing this shit. You're too old to be jumping. But shit, he looks sucked. Oh my God. He looked like a skeleton with skin when he stepped on the scale at 35. Jose Aldo is used to fighting 145. He dropped down to 135. I'm like, damn, keep the EMTs close. This dude looked like he's about to pass out. But he went in there and performed pretty decent. Whoever his nutritionist is, these boxers need to go find Jose Aldo's nutritionist. That's real talk. They need to go find Rigondeaux's nutritionist because these guys are much older and they're able to drop weight and still go in there and perform pretty good. That's commendable. But anyway, Peter Yan is set to fight Aljamain Sterling next, and that's going to be fire. If you don't know, Marlon Moraes, man, he was on a tear. Seriously. and they was trying to fight for that 135-pound title. Aljamain Sterling got caught slipping, switch kick, and freaking Mirage put him out. Stiff. So he's been working himself back up. And then, you know, shout out to my man Ariel, who was freaking lap riding Corey Sandhagen. He was like, oh, Corey, people think I show favoritism to you, Corey. You do. You were showing favoritism until Aljamain went in there and lit his ass up. Corey Sandhagen can fight. I give him that. He's very deceptive. But Ariel, being the instigator he is at some time, he was really counting out Aljamain, and Corey's going to go in there and get the job done. But no. Aljamain went in there and lit Corey Sandhagen up. I mean, the way he defeated him, he did as if you have a white belt walking up into a freaking on his first day of BJJ. It was sick. So now he finally gets his chance to fight for the title. He had to work himself back up. So Peter Yan, man, he will face Aljamain Sterling. That should be a damn good fight. Number 11, Justin Gaethje. We almost done, y'all. Justin Gaethje is number 11. Little peep this, though. Justin Gaethje, man, like I told you. Khabib and Tony Ferguson. 5 times they were supposed to fight, y'all. 5 times. From 2015 all the way up. 5 times they were supposed to fight. Canceled. So Tony Ferguson ended up fighting a whole different type of fighter in Justin Gaethje. Some people say it was less of a threat than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Justin Gaethje has the performance of his life. I mean, like, I'm saying to myself, God damn, he is fucking Tony Ferguson up. His boxing skills, his timing, his distance, all that shit was perfect. Look, he couldn't have fought a better fight. That's one of the best fights if you want to go look at. Look at Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. This shit was amazing. I say he's ready. I watched Justin Gaethje when he was in WSOF. You know, he was a champion over there. His wars with Luis Palomino, who's current champ over there at Bare Knuckle Fighting. You know I do this. And then I'm like, damn. Justin Gaethje is ready for Khabib. He could potentially fuck Khabib up with his boxing. But everybody was saying, including myself, that Justin Gaethje has wrestling. We was just waiting for him to use it. No one really seen him use his wrestling. Then it all comes down to him stepping into the cage. And it's nowhere even close. It's nowhere even close, y'all. Khabib subs him out in the second round. Nowhere freaking close, people. Get at me. Nowhere even close. Nowhere even close. And Khabib took it easy on him because his parents was in the building. Khabib's father had just passed not too long ago. And he still came back and competed. After that fight with Justin Gaethje where he defeated him easily, he retired. Supposedly, he left the sport. He didn't vacate the belt. He left the sport. But Justin Gaethje sitting at number 11, y'all. He's sitting at number 11. That's wild. He's sitting at number 11. He's still right there, you know, all nice and cozy with number 10. You know what I'm saying? It was a minute when Justin Gaethje was inside number 10 now. Damn. That's crazy. Number 12 is Conor McGregor. I just told you. Conor McGregor is vying for another shot at Khabib. All right? The most controversial fights of this era between Khabib and Conor McGregor. Now, Conor McGregor has been at the highest of high. He was fucking up out in town too. You know what I'm saying? And the most notable time that people talk about when it's dealing with the UFC is when he showed up in NYC at MSG with his group. I mean, they was trying to slide, y'all. Listen, Conor McGregor got word that Artem Lobov had been cornered, and they kind of gave him a little boy speech. and was talking shit to him, but respectfully, Adam Lowball went back and told Conor McGregor. Conor said, fuck that. Who the fuck are you? You know, goddamn Conor McGregor said, hey, we going over there. He a millionaire now. Many times over. Conor say, don't worry about shit. I got all y'all. We're going to MSG. Him and his boys pulled up. Conor McGregor is livid. He's livid. You can't tell him shit. The man is seeing motherfucking red. He picks up a motherfucking dolly that you load shit on and tosses a metal dolly at the team bus. The team bus, I'm saying, for UFC fighters is on. Khabib was on that bus. So he had a pretty good timeline on when Khabib was on the bus. Now, I don't know why he waited for him to get on the bus, because if he really had the intel, he could have just as well caught him when he was loading the bus. Seriously. But glass shattered. Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg, Thug Rose Namajunas, all them fighters was injured by glass. So therefore, you probably had a civil suit outside of the UFC where Conor McGregor had to come out the pocket and reimburse these cats for missing the fight and for damn damages and injuries. You know what I'm saying? That's real. But Conor McGregor, Dana White allowed that shit with the dolly to be used in the promo leading up to Khabib's fight. Dana White has said to everybody, I'm not going to punish him. He was punished out there in civilian court. I'm not going to do anything. That's double jeopardy. Dana White allowed Conor McGregor to still compete. No punishment. Not only that, he used the shit in the promo. Not only that, he allowed Conor McGregor to bring his proper 12 whiskey to the stage during the presser and pour a glass and present it to Khabib to disrespect him. Dana White was the protagonist in this shit, man. He instigated a lot of this shit. He wanted to build it up. That's why these fighters, sometimes they expendable. They find out how expendable they are to the damn fight game when they have some real shit going on in their life, but yet the promoter and everybody else they say, fuck all that. You're a fighter. You better suck it up. We're going to sell this fight. That's when a fighter realizes how expendable they are. And then a fighter like Conor McGregor, who made Dana White millions, he's going to be the asset. So he said, of course I'm going to look after Conor McGregor. He put millions in myself and Fertitta Brothers' pockets. A lot. So of course we're going to look out for Conor. And that's what's going on right now. Dana White is trying to look out for Conor once more because he knows Conor still has the selling power. So he's trying to build up this fight in a rematch, and he's going to have to pay Khabib a hell of a lot of money to do it. Seriously, he's going to have to pay Khabib a lot. We ain't talking about a Brinks truck. We're not talking about a Brinks truck, y'all. We're not talking about. We're talking about shit that has to be in the computer. The numeric quantity, the amount has to be generated in a computer. That's what. Okay. Put it in my account. It's not going to be a physical form. This shit is going to have to be goddamn put somewhere and say, okay, let's do a wire transfer. Boom. No Brinks truck. No Ford truck. None of that shit. But this is where we at with Conor McGregor. He's going to be on the tail end of his career. The man just showed you he was riding around with $1 million watch. Look, I ain't going to lie. The watch was fly. I'm not going to lie to you. The watch was fly, y'all. You know what? I have to show y'all this watch. All right. This shit was motherfucking fly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too much of a watch person, but the shit was on point. Hold on for a second. Y'all hit that like button, man. You know what it is. WCS, man, I give you boxing and MMA, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I do what I do. That's all I say. I do what I do. Who gonna give you a comparison? Who gonna give you a storyline? Who gonna break this top 10 pound for pound list down with actual fights and scenarios that took place in the UFC? Man, come on, man. I could do Bellator too, but I'm not gonna mix those ingredients together. You know what I'm saying? Because it's strictly what's going on right now in the UFC. Hold on for a second. Okay, I got it. This motherfucker is nice. Like I just couldn't be. I couldn't walk around with this for real. Now, of course, if someone gave it to me, hell yeah, I would take it. And you know what? I would get off that shit quicker than damn the sun can come up in the morning. I would have had that shit not on Craigslist, but I would have had it somewhere. And say, hey, this is what I got. It was given to me as a gift. But let me bring this watch up for you right quick. This shit is on a whole nother level, man. I'm not comparing it to Floyd Mayweather's watch that he said he paid $10 million. I just think, you know, the way it looks is just wild. Hold up, man. Let me go back. This shit is unfucking believable. You know what, people? God damn it. Let me go to another one. Fuck. Okay. Hold up. Let me see if this can work right here. Yeah, this is a JPEG. So peep this out. Hopefully you can see it pretty decent. And make sure you hit that like button in the building, man. Your boy World Combat Sports giving you mixed martial arts, Muddy Flax breakdown. You know, only I know how to do. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. God damn it. I got you. Now let me find this right quick. Okay, check this out. Oh, shit. My bad, y'all. See what happened when you start damn trying to put pictures up here? The shit don't work out the right way. Because the watch probably costs too much damn money to be showing. Let me find that one picture, and then we cooking. Because, you know, right now, we're talking about Conor McGregor, who's sitting at number 12 on the pound for pound list. You didn't think I forgot, did you? Okay. Hold on. Man, they are. I gotta get this shit. Now that I'm invested. By the power invested in me, goddammit. Okay, we almost there. Just hold up. It's coming up. I just gotta find it one more time. Oh, snap. What is going on, shawty? Stop playing. Come on, put this file up here. You're up here keeping the people waiting. Look at this watch right here, y'all. Look at that motherfucking watch. Oh my God. That's Conor McGregor, man. What do you do with that? First of all, it's $1 million. Easy. It's $1 million. That's what he says. It's $1 million. Look at that shit. Dude, look, I'm a simple person in a lot of ways. I just want to look at my shit. All right, cool. I got 5 minutes left. Then I'm leaving this motherfucker. That's what I'm doing. I'm not looking at this watch say, God damn. You know, let me see what the fuck going on in that little city. There's people running around that motherfucker. What? That shit's tight, man. That's a badass watch. But anyway, back to what I was saying, man. I had to show you that. That's Conor McGregor's $1 million watch. I mean, that's nothing to him on how much money he's made. and that he's making in the UFC. That's nothing. That little $1 million was nothing at all. Moving on to Robert Whittaker, man. He's sitting at number 13. You know what? Robert Whittaker. He was a former middleweight champion, and Israel Adesanya ended up defeating him for it. He's still working himself back up, man. He's a tough fighter. I like Robert Whittaker, man. He's a tough Aussie fighter, and you know, people didn't give him that much respect as a champion because he's not outspoken as a lot of champions. He's not the Conor McGregors. He's not the Israel Adesanyas. You know what I'm saying? He's not that he doesn't have that persona of a John Jones, but he'll make it back up there soon enough. 14, Francis Ngannou. Like I said before, man, he's from Guyana, and it's only a matter of time before he get his shot again with Stipe Miocic. I know for a fact he's improved since the first fight. He may indeed have a better fight plan. You can improve in areas, but if your cage IQ or your fighting IQ is not enough to go in there and change it up like Stipe was able to do, Stipe was getting shots landed on him by Daniel Cormier, who was a shorter fighter and everything. But look, he said, your ass want to make Popeye's motherfucking commercials? I'm going to dig to your motherfucking basket, that 15 piece. He started digging that left hook in there. Give me that wing. Give me that breast. He started digging to that rib cage. Shit just started falling out. Buttermilk biscuits, red beans and rice, dirty rice. Stipe switched that shit up. You know what I'm saying? He switched it up. Green beans started falling out that mug. Fried wings. Chicken tenders. He said, you want to goddamn make a commercial while you competing in the UFC at Popeye's Chicken? And you think that shit funny? Hit his ass again. Daniel's like, ouch, shit. God damn. That grease ain't sitting well on my stomach. Daniel backed up against the cage. Before you know it, Stipe was over goddamn dropping them bombs on him, them drumsticks on his ass. He was dropping them drumsticks. Pop, 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 pop. Anyway, Francis Ngannou should get another shot. We just don't know when. Juan Blachowicz, the last one on the top 15 list. And you know what? Juan Blachowicz, do I believe he's going to face defeat Israel Adesanya? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to defeat Israel Adesanya. Adesanya is slim. He's somewhat like John Jones moving up to heavyweight, but he's not going to come up all bulked up. Adesanya is going to use his speed, range. That's what he's going to do. He's going to use his kicks. We've seen Adesanya run. We've seen him run against Yoel Romero. We've seen him be that guy. I think that's what he's going to do against Juan Blachowicz. You know what I'm saying? Juan Blachowicz, in my opinion, can he win? Of course. I think he can win. But do I believe that a middleweight coming up? And this is what I like about the mixed martial arts game, the Muddy Flats, right? They have people moving up divisions. You know what I'm saying? They have people moving up divisions and fighting in a multi-discipline sport. So if Israel Adesanya comes up and challenges Juan Blachowicz, it's up to Juan Blachowicz to stop it and say, no, you're in the wrong weight class. It's up to him to stop that shit. And it's not going to be all about the power. He's going to have to allow that shit to come. He's going to have a damn a successful offensive strategy. He's going to have to be very smart about how he goes in there with somebody like Israel Adesanya that's very long and lanky, a former kickboxer. He's going to have to watch out for the kicks. Him being a light heavyweight, a much heavier guy, he's not as quick as Adesanya. So he's got to be smart. But if you want to earn the respect of the mixed martial arts community, you're going to have to go in there and shut down Israel Adesanya. You're going to have to shut down Israel Adesanya just like Dustin Poirier did Max Bless Holloway when he moved up the lightweight to try to challenge for the interim title. You got to shut that shit down. Send them back down to their weight class. Nah, go on. Going back down to weight class. Shouldn't be over here. You know what I'm saying? That's just like Henry Cejudo did TJ Dillashaw. Different scenario, but the same outcome. Henry Cejudo talked himself out of moving up to 35 for a nice paycheck. Dana White said, fuck that. You pricing yourself out. Got with TJ Dillashaw, and Dillashaw said, okay. Dillashaw went in there and got the EPO needles. TJ Dillashaw said, shit, they want me to cut weight. I'm going to use a cutting agent. Fuck all the other shit. I'm a goddamn cheap. TJ Dillashaw was the current 135-pound champion. And Dana White said, go down to the 125-pound division and defeat Henry Cejudo so I can banish that motherfucking division. That's what he tried to do with the trade with Demetrius Johnson and Ben Askren. He tried to banish the flyweight division. That's what he tried to do. The only trade ever to happen in the UFC. The only trade. Ben Askren came to the UFC. Demetrius Johnson left. The only trade, right? TJ Dillashaw comes down there and get knocked out in one round against Henry Cejudo. Not only that, the man popped positive, dog. The man popped positive and admitted knowingly to take pads. Because it was probably tough for him to go down to 1 1/4. The man was up at the bantamweight division, earning his respect. It wasn't like he hadn't been champion before. But when it came down to it, you was dropping down facing somebody like Henry Cejudo, who was a gold medal Olympic wrestler, plus he had worked on his hands like DC. So when TJ dropped down in the flyweight division, right, you're like, oh, this is going to be damn good. It was the same way Cody Garbrandt was knocked out with TJ Dillashaw twice. Oh, my God, Henry Cejudo knocked his ass out. And then to add the dirt, to push all the dirt on top of the motherfucking burial, he tested positive and suspended from the sport for 2 years. 2 years, y'all. He's due to come back this year. 2 years, TJ Dillashaw. He had to take the motherfucking. Look, I got to give you, I got to frame this shit for you, right? I'm going to tie it up nice and tight, all right? TJ Dillashaw, it was so many people. If you didn't look at the tough, the ultimate fighter, when Conor McGregor and all them, and Conor McGregor was telling Cody Garbrandt. I mean, he was telling Uriah Faber. TJ is a snake. TJ is a motherfucking snake in the grass. That's the one thing I can say, Conor McGregor. I appreciate him realizing, hey, TJ Dillashaw, snake in the grass. He's a snake. And then, believe it or not, TJ Dillashaw ended up leaving Team Alpha Male and going with Dwayne Ludwig, who used to teach at the damn Sacramento Academy. They used to be a part of the team. He started to do his own thing, and the one fighter behind his back that really didn't let anybody know shit went out there and purchased a house near Team Elevation. You know, just out there doing his own thing, didn't let Uriah Faber know. Look, Uriah Faber picked up TJ Dillashaw when he was wrestling in high school. He had an eye for this dude. The damn loyalty, the lack of loyalty for TJ Dillashaw to go out there and purchase a home and had plans, ulterior motives to move away from the camp without even letting Uriah Faber know. Conor McGregor told him that. And he's a snake in the grass. That's what he said, yo. And it ended up happening. So a lot of people was waiting on the downfall and demise of TJ Dillashaw, and it happened. It fucking happened, y'all. He was knocked the fuck out. Not only was he knocked out, he was suspended from the sport for drug use, and he admitted to it. If that's not karma, I don't know what the fuck is, y'all. I don't know what the fuck is, y'all. But that was my top pound for pound. I got to get to some of these comments. I apologize, but I had to get through my shit, y'all. What's going on, Mitch? You can hear every shot he hit Ferguson with. virtuoso performance. Absolutely. And Mitch, stop using those $5.25 words. You know not to come on here using virtuoso. You might piss some people off because they be dropping inbox. Excuse me, Mr. White. Can you just stick to the basic verbiage, please? There's no reason why you should have to have a dialogue where you're using $5 words. And I said, I never quite understood what that meant. But anyway, I get what you're saying. SB90, what's good? Salute, WCS. I appreciate you, man. Ain't a fan of Conor. Hey, I used to not be a fan of Conor, but I started putting all the pieces together, right? I say, damn, this dude was able to knock out Jose, go up to 170, boom, defeat 1-1 with Nate Diaz, who they say trying to come back, right? And then go down to Chad Mendez, who was the damn active, the current reigning defending lightweight champion. I mean, not Chad Mendez, Eddie Alvarez. He went down there and defeated the underground king, Eddie Alvarez, who has a championship in every organization he ever competed in. Eddie fucking Alvarez, one of my favorite mixed martial artists. He goes in there and stops him. That's two champions Conor McGregor stopped. He stopped Jose Aldo in 13. I believe he stopped Eddie Alvarez in the third or fourth round. Legendary shit. Legendary. And then he goes over there and fight Floyd Mayweather with an 0-0 boxing record. Man, you don't have to like him, but you sure enough gotta fucking respect it. Seriously, you gotta respect him, man. You gotta respect him. I see my good friend back over here. So, I always like to, put the hook out there and see if they want to come on here and show their face on camera and talk this shit. I don't want to talk to you. You're going to be behind the avatar. Show your face. I don't want you looking up shit like Camacho did when he was over here trying to challenge me on motherfucking MMA knowledge. Just have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? HLD, there go the link. Maybe your link works now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's strictly mixed martial arts. This live is strictly MMA, the Muddy Flats. You was on here earlier talking about that old ass GSP shit. Maybe your link worked. Let's go. Major Key. Salute, man. Respect to you. Appreciate you pulling up, man. IB, man, that watch is icy as hell, man. That watch is unfucking believable. Like I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it. First of all, I wouldn't spend it $1 million on that unless I really had what. Of course, I had to have a cushion. If Conor McGregor look, I heard Conor McGregor's net worth is over 100 million. That's what I heard. I heard that the proper 12 whiskey, that shit is making him them. I mean, I'm talking about that shit is making him grand money. Stacks on top of stacks, that proper 12. I heard that shit is incredible. I don't even know why Conor's still fighting. I'm not going to lie to you. Why Conor McGregor is still fighting. He was able to do legendary type shit and he got paid. He got paid in legendary fashion. Unfucking believable. You don't have to like him, but you got to respect him, y'all. You got to respect him. Man, all that WWE, man, come on. Everybody has to promote a fight, man. Come on, HLD, show your face. Let's hear your voice, shawty. Come in and talk this MMA shit, man. Come on, man. Don't be scared. Come on, man. No paperwork, no looking up shit behind the avatar. Just come up here and talk this MMA. I know you've been sitting in the background, man. You've been sitting there watching, but you don't want to come on and pop it up and chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll move on. It's not about you. But check this out, though. Dana White is absolutely trying to make a fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib. Whether the fight happens or not, it's all about, if Khabib is going to get paid enough or how he's feeling after his dad's passing. Khabib Nurmagomedov, man, I'm gonna tell you, I would yearn to have a relationship with my father if he was living, like he had with his father. Like Khabib had so much unconditional and genuine love and respect for his father. I mean, I'm talking about unfucking believable. It's not even an amount you can put on that shit, y'all. He loved his dad. He loved it, man. Just because you have parents don't mean your parents love you and your kids love you back. Especially if your parents is not the ones to tell you I love you in the first place. It doesn't mean it. They might have had a influence in birthing you, but it doesn't mean that they are the group of parents that say I love you all the time and real affectionate and let you know that. Not every family is like that. But for Khabib, man, he loved his father. Like I said before, I can't imagine the time that Khabib took to mourn his father. Like I can't imagine. I can't. When my pops passed, first of all, not to dig up old rubble, and this is all the respect to the Most High. I'm calling my pops, and I wasn't even told my pops was sick. I'm calling to holler at him from Iraq. I'm getting back from a convoy. I'm saying, let me hit pops up and see if he at home. I'm told. I respect for that person. I'm told that, oh, he's asleep, he's not there, all that. I'm like, a month? What the fuck? A month? What's going on with him? That's unusual. I didn't get the phone call till his mind was gone and he had cancer. His mind was gone. He couldn't even remember me now. Maybe I could have talked to him and he said, hey, son, I'm not doing that well. Don't know how long I have left. I could have had that last conversation with, but that was taken away. I was deprived from that. So that's what I'm telling you. I couldn't imagine what he went through with his pops. I never had the opportunity to have a last conversation with my pops. And it's real talk. This is all outside of you know who I am, joking around on here and everything. I never had that opportunity. When I saw my pops before he died, he was screaming. He was in so much pain. When I walked around the corner and heard my pops in there, this is a man I never seen cry. I never got a hug from my pops. He was in my life the entire time. You know, he was just that dude. He wasn't infection like that. But when I walked around that corner, when I walked in there and heard my dad in there screaming, and he was in that much pain because he had cancer and everything, I can't imagine what Khabib went through. I wasn't even really close to my pops like he was. But the last moments of my pop's life, I drew closer to his moment because it was his last moments on earth. It was his last moment on this earth. I felt extremely bad. Like I just flew in from Iraq, straight to the hospital. I was tired. I was exhausted, but I was running on adrenaline. I said, damn, I get to go see Pops, man. I get to go see Pops. I'm happy, you know. I haven't seen him in a minute. I haven't heard from him. But y'all want to know some fucked up shit, though? I didn't even know my dad was that sick until I got the letter and said, you got to go home because your dad on your deathbed, his deathbed. I didn't even know he was that sick. I did not know he was that sick. So when I was, I went in there and rubbed my pop's head, rub him on his head and everything. First time I ever touched his hair. I was just talking to him, and he would scream out, in pain. I'm like asking the nurse, I'm not getting on her. I'm not mad. I'm saying, is there anything that like he's gonna continue to experience this pain? Like, what's going on? She said, yes. He's on morphine drip right now. I said, why is he in so much pain? He said, because the cancer is where it is. He's not going to live. So the entire time I was down there, he didn't pass. He He was alive, but he was still in pain. So me being in the military, I had to go back. I was an officer who was in charge of a unit. I had to go back. I didn't have a replacement. It's just me. So I had to go back. I said, well, I'll just come back. You know, by the time I landed on the ground, when I took the bird back, and I'm talking about long ass flight, all that shit touched down. I got off. I saw them two people over there, and they walked up and said, sir, we sorry to. I said, I already know. He said, you don't have to go back to the can. You're gonna take a flight right back out in about 30 minutes. Just stay right here. Like I never went back to get my shit in my can. They packed all that up for me. I don't even know if I got all my stuff. I don't even know how they got in my locker that had locks on them. But I turned right back around and got on a plane and headed right back to the A. And my pops had passed. He passed on my flight back over to Iraq. Yep, sure did. I'm not going to talk too much on it because I don't want to, really get upset about why I was deprived of my dad's last years in life. Why you want to allow me to speak to him when you know he was damn sick? It's crazy, man. But yeah, back to mixed martial arts though, man. I gave you the breakdown, man. I just wanted to touch bases on the Max Holloway and Kattar matches coming up January 16th. And also, tomorrow. And also just give you a slight preview of the UFC card that's going to have Michael Chandler on there. You know what I'm saying? Michael Chandler is coming back. I had the entire fight card for UFC 257 on my YouTube channel. But let me go right quick. Let me give you another rundown. UFC 257, man. The main event is going to be Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. Right? So hold up for a second. Oh, let me go back. So this card is going to be pretty nice, man. You have Michael Chandler that's coming over from Bellator, former champion, been in some crazy fights in his career. You know what I'm saying? He's coming over here to face Dan Hooker, former kickboxer. He's trying to get his shot, man. This is lightweight, contender at 155. And this is what's so exciting. Michael Chandler, man, he had his ups and downs, man. He fought Patricky and Patricio Pitbull, of the Pitbull brothers. And he had his ups and downs. But he's in there with a tough opponent, Dan Hooker, that could potentially defeat him. That's going to be a good fight. That's the co-main event. And of course, you have women Joanne Calderwood, and Jessica Eye. Both of these women are tough fighters, very talented. Calderwood is going to grind it out, man. Jessica Eye can wrestle. She can wrestle. If you don't remember, Valentina Shevchenko head kicked Jessica Eye, man. It was brutal. People thought she had died. Like, she head kicked the shit out of Jessica Eye, and Jessica froze up, and she was just laying out there on the canvas. Crazy. Amanda Ribas. I'm looking forward to seeing Amanda Ribas, man. I got like a slight crush on Amanda Ribas. She has this like personality that's weird. Seductive but strange. You know what I'm saying? Seductive but strange. Sexy but dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to see her freaking fight again. But that's for another day, y'all. Seriously, that's for another day. Only thing I can think of is secure his generational wealth. You know, with the sponsorship, with all that sponsorship, I think he has generational wealth right now. Seriously, I think Conor McGregor has a lot of that. Shit, he has a lot of it, man. Secure. Did you say secure? That shit is motherfucker with a deadlock on it. Securing his generational wealth, that has been completed. Real talk. That has been completed. I have to say, man. Absolutely. That's been completed, man. I'm not going to lie to you. That has absolutely been completed. And then to wrap this up, right? The UFC has just finally come around to reinvent their drug policy. And it started with marijuana because marijuana has had so many of my people locked up behind bars. So many people, lives was extracted from society because of marijuana. I'm talking about just a little bit of marijuana. Now it's coming to the point of legalization, damn near everywhere, like medical marijuana and everything. So when it comes to fighting, they're changing the rules after some fighters' careers was damn ruined. All because of marijuana. But now they're up here changing the rules. But there is a catch. They're going to measure the amount of THC. They're not going to just give you that super duper chronic. You know what I'm saying? You come up there fucked up like, yeah. You know, coming here like Mike Tyson when he was fighting Roy Jones. Shit, Mike Tyson probably came in that motherfucker and didn't feel shit. Mike Tyson. Listen, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna fight on the card. I'm gonna be the main event. But check this out. We cannot test for marijuana. I'm smoking marijuana. I have a marijuana dispensary and everything else. We're not gonna test for marijuana. We can test for everything else, but not marijuana. Because I'm gonna smoke with Snoop Dogg. I'm gonna smoke me a fat one before I go to the ring, and that's that. Shit, Mike Tyson saying, "Damn, you can't fuck with me." The UFC is now saying they're not going to punish or suspend people for marijuana. Now, it's a way that they can render a test, you know, just like law enforcement do. They can render a test for marijuana, but it's probably, you know, almost like a field sobriety. It's according to how much, whatever they do it. If they want to see, you know, what the sobriety is, whatever. But it's changing the game. It's changing the game. I'm not sure because they trying to get Nate Diaz back in there and Nate smoked some hella marijuana, or the fact that in life in general, marijuana is becoming a regular drug now that you can use for medical reasons, social reasons. You know what I'm saying? Just regular recreational drug or whatever. It's too much out there right now to be pulling people over and say, "What you got?" I smell weed. So, I mean, unless it's in a region that's marijuana is just outlawed. I mean, come on, man. But the UFC is changing its rules. Kudos to them. I'm happy. They're trying to say is still will be tested for the amount that you have. However, that's going to happen. But yeah, marijuana, unfortunately, is years late because there've been fighters who lost their career, and those fighters should have their shit overturned. They should have it overturned, just like John Jones is the one that pretty much made the UFC revise and review their drug policies when it comes to USADA, because if a fighter's still depleting picograms out their system from drug use, and just say that the fighter wasn't aware of knowingly ingesting PEDs, but it was a tainted supplement that they were sponsored by, it may take them a while for that supplement to totally filter out their system. So when USADA come over here and render the drug test, and they pop positive for the small amounts of picograms are smaller, and you say, oh, so-and-so test positive, they suspended. They stopped doing that shit. Now they don't even make the public aware when a fighter tests positive until the second test comes back, and then they run these tests to make sure everything's good to go. Before, boom, highlight, shoot up the flare, so-and-so tested positive. Yeah. John Jones was able to get that shit changed. Dana White said he's already served his time. We're not going to spend him again for the same thing when the levels have not increased. Smart. Now with the marijuana situation, they're not going to punish fighters for the marijuana shit because you have fighters out there using it for medical marijuana and all that shit. Hey, but that's what I wanted to bring to you all. I appreciate everyone who pulled up, you know what I'm saying, for the Muddy Flats edition. Don't ever get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? It's boxing, MMA, and everything else. I always appreciate y'all support, man. 2021. Be sure to tune in to the fight cards that's coming up. I would definitely try to say tune in tomorrow. I may be able to give you some snippets. WBC amateur boxing tournament going down. Of course, I'm gonna support Paul the Punisher Williams, Team Punisher, all them cats up there. World Combat Sports. Turn up and tune in. Until next time.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you're tuned into World Combat Sports.